Have you ever had a great idea and wondered, could this actually be a business? Well, today, we're going to find out. We are going on a journey from that first little spark of an idea all the way to a real, living, breathing company.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the blueprint, the absolute fundamentals. Then, we'll actually create a company from scratch to make it real. After that, we'll peek under the hood and see how it runs, how it gets its products out into the world, and, most importantly, how it manages its people. And then, we're going to flip the script and talk about you and where you fit into this whole story.
All right, first things first. You can't just build a house without a blueprint, right? Same goes for a business. So this first part is all about the foundations of management, the core rules that make any company tick.
The whole world of business really boils down to this one core concept, administración, or management. It's basically the magic that takes a company's big goals and turns them into actual results through a process of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. It's the engine of any organization.
Now, in the world of management, there are two classic schools of thought that are still incredibly relevant. On one side, you've got Taylorism, which is totally obsessed with the individual task. It's all about making every single action on an assembly line as efficient as humanly possible. On the other side, you've got Fayolism, which says, forget the tiny tasks, let's perfect the overall company's structure from the top down. The real secret, the best companies don't pick one, they use a bit of both.
Okay, enough with the theory. Let's make this stuff real. Right now, we are going to build our very own company, a little shoe factory that we'll call Castro Industria de Calçados.
So, what's the very first step in making our shoe company real? We have to give it a legal name, an official identity. This is its raison sociale. It's the name on all the official paperwork, the one the government knows, like Castro Industria de Calçados Ltda. Of course, a name is great, but it doesn't pay the bills. You can't start a company without some money in the bank. You need that initial investment for all the startup costs before you've even sold your first shoe. And that seed money, it's called capital social. For our shoe company, this is the magic number, 120,000 reals. This is the actual amount of capital the founders put together to get the whole thing off the ground. This is the investment that gets the lights on and the machines running.
Okay, so our company officially exists and it has cash in the bank. Now for the fun part. How do we actually run it? This next section is all about the engine room, the day-to-day work of making and selling shoes.
So where does that 120,000 reais go? It gets split into three main buckets. You got your one-time fixed investments, like buying machinery. Then you have fixed costs, the bills you have to pay every month no matter what, like salaries. And finally, you have variable costs, like the leather for the shoes, which go up or down depending on how busy you are. To make sure every single shoe is top quality, businesses have a simple but super powerful trick up their sleeve, the PDCA cycle. It's a constant loop. You plan what you're going to do, you do it. You check to see how it went, and then you act to make it even better next time. Simple, right? But it's a game changer.
All right, the machines are humming, orders are flying in, but this creates a classic business headache. How do you make sure you never run out of leather right in the middle of a big order? And just as important, how do you avoid the opposite problem, having a warehouse full of materials that's tying up all your cash?
The solution starts right here, with your first line of defense, estoque minimo, or minimum stock. Think of it like the low fuel light in your car. It's just a preset warning level. When your inventory hits that point, an alarm bell goes off telling you it's time to order more. But what happens if your supplier's truck gets a flat tire or a customer places a massive, unexpected order? The low fuel light isn't enough. That's where estoque de segurança, or safety stock, comes in. It's your buffer. It's that extra stash you keep on hand just in case life, happens.
So, our factory is making fantastic shoes and our inventory is perfectly managed. We're all set, right? Not quite. A factory full of shoes is worthless if nobody knows about them. This is where we connect our company to the outside world. You can think of a good marketing strategy like a recipe. You need all the key ingredients. You have to know your target market. Who are you selling to? You need clear positioning. Why should they buy from you? You define your products, figure out distribution, how to get them to your customers, and finally, advertising, to let everyone know you exist. And whether you're selling shoes to a store or buying leather from a supplier, it all involves negotiation. But here's the secret. Good negotiation isn't about winning. It's about finding a solution where everybody walks away happy. It's a fair exchange based on a really simple principle. You got to give to get.
We've talked about money, machines, and marketing. But you can have all of that perfectly lined up, and your business will absolutely fail without the single most important resource of all, people. Let's talk about the human element.
Building an amazing team is really a two-part mission. First is recruitamento, or recruitment. This is where you cast a really wide net to attract a big pool of talented people. Then comes the hard part, selección, or selection. This is where you carefully pick the absolute best person from that pool for the job.
So you've hired great people. How do you keep them motivated? Well, you have to understand what drives them. And this pyramid is the ultimate cheat sheet. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The idea is that you have to build from the bottom up. You can't ask someone to be creative and change the world if they're worried about their job security or they don't feel like they belong.
All right, for this last part, let's bring it all back home. We've built an entire company from just an idea. Now let's see how all these concepts can apply directly to you and your own career.
And that leads us to this big idea, emprendedorismo, or entrepreneurship. But listen, this is way more than just starting a company. It's a mindset. It's about creating value, about looking at the world a little differently, and about having the courage to chase an opportunity.
So what does that mindset look like in a real person? Well, it's this powerful mix of traits. It's the initiative to just get started, the self-confidence to believe you can do it, and the guts to accept risk. But more than that, it's the sheer persistence and optimism to keep going when things get tough. It's pure energy.
So there you have it. We've gone from a single thought to a full-fledged business, and we've looked at every single piece of the puzzle along the way. Now that you've seen the blueprint for how it's all done, there's really only one question left to ask. What value will you create?